Your powers of learning faster. Excellent. What about creativity? Perhaps in the right place, the right time. In the next few minutes, you will know a little bit about plenty of things, including creativity. I just want to start by talking about creativity, and we'll be speaking about other things in the seminar that we're going to have after the lunch break. But this is where I find the biggest gap. So whether you are planning to get a job or whether you're planning to have your own startup, you are going to need a lot of creativity. Okay, so that's what is missing in education. Education is great in some aspects, especially in the aspects where you really meet some amazing teachers who are able to teach you stuff really fast in a really interesting way. That's the fantastic thing about education. But there are plenty of gaps, and creativity is a big gap. And it's not just in India, it's across the world. Okay, so the education systems across the world are facing huge challenges because they don't change very fast. Now, to demonstrate how critical creativity is, it's very easy for me to do that. Just imagine I were to meet you 20 years ago. 20, or in some cases 10 years, because some of you would not have been possible for me to meet you. So, if I were to have met you 10 years ago, and I were to say, just give me the name of the first company that pops into your mind when you hear a certain word that I'm going to give you. Okay? So I'm going to give you a certain word. Give me the name of the first company that pops into your mind, and imagine that I have asked you this question 10 years ago. Okay? Everybody's ready? Yes. The word that I'm giving you is photography. Okay, you guys have above average general knowledge, because the most common name, most audiences, this is my 220-second seminar, most audiences would say Kodak. Okay, and you know what happened to Kodak? What happened? Yeah, they vanished, they became bankrupt, and when they became bankrupt, they had 150,000 employees. Okay, so you can imagine how big a hit that was to all those people. Why did it go bankrupt?
Yeah, I'm from.
Or go out of that business at least?
I'm settled in Delhi right now.
Okay, it was because of certain technology. What was that technology? Somebody said digital what? Digital photography. They went out of business because of digital photography. They could not see that digital photography would kill the normal photography business, where you would go to a shop and you would get hard copies of a photograph and all that.
That's great.
Now, who do you think invented digital photography? Kodak itself. Absolutely. They themselves invented the technology, and they themselves couldn't figure out that that technology would kill themselves. So this is probably the biggest example I can give you of creativity being absolutely critical, and obviously you've got to do something with that creativity. You can't create for the sake of others and get yourself killed. But you have to keep on reinventing your business, because if you don't, even if you're Kodak, if you're the blue chips, if you're such a large company, you have market knowledge, you have distributors, you have plenty of established processes to get you a lot of profits, you can still go bankrupt if you don't take creativity seriously. So that, I think, is a very big example, because the message I'm giving you is that if it can happen to Kodak, it can happen to anyone. So if you feel safe just now because you got a pre-placement offer from a big company, or you have business which has produced good profits, well, I would suggest you be a little insecure, because if it could happen to that company, it could happen to you. But Kodak is a bit old an example, not very exciting to all of you. So let me give you a recent example. And let me ask you a question about this. If you know the answer, then don't shout out the answer. If you don't know the answer, then think of what the answer would be. Which company today is the largest manufacturer of watches? Titan, I hear Titan. Rolex. Okay, the real answer is Samsung. Samsung is the largest mobile phone manufacturer in terms of number of units sold, and every mobile phone is a watch. So if you were excited about getting a pre-placement offer from a watch company, you just don't know when that industry will be completely dead. Okay, so I thought about that because I thought of another example. Nokia at one time had a 30 or 40% market share in the smartphone, in the mobile phone business. How many of you are using a Nokia today? Great. I love to know that some people are really interested in antiques. because just like Kodak, I wanted to share the example of Nokia. If it could happen to Nokia and to Kodak, then it can happen to anyone. So please never become complacent and take creativity more seriously. So these were examples from the past. Let's talk about two examples from the present. There are two technologies right now which are existing, which you can read about, which you can see people using on YouTube. Both these technologies can destroy the industries that they're in. I mean, it's a good chance that they will destroy those industries. Both of these technologies are from one company. That's the biggest hint I'm giving you. So which company is it? And which technology am I talking about? Yeah, Google is absolutely right. Google is absolutely right. So which are the two technologies I'm talking about? Android is an old story now. This is new, and this is probably a bigger story than Android in terms of the industries it can destroy.
Android 1.
No, let's not talk about Android. Android may be big, but it's old. Android has been around for some time. Sorry?
Google Plus.
Google Glass, somebody said Google Glass, yeah. Now just imagine what's going to happen to the entire mobile phone industry, the entire smartphone industry. If I can have a mobile phone on my nose, which gets my hands free, obviously I would prefer that mobile phone. So it's just a matter of time before the entire smartphone industry is dead and everybody moves on to Google Glass. Initially, it's going to be expensive, like all technologies are. The new technologies, when they start, they're very expensive. They're very difficult to use. They don't have great acceptance. They don't have a great distribution network. And then one man gets into the business and crashes the price. His name is Mukesh Ambani. So you can see what he's done to the mobile phone market. So it's just a matter of time. Imagine all these guys who think they're so smart because they're working in the smartphone industry, they're out. What's going to happen then? And people will say, oh, this industry itself will create lots of new jobs. But that doesn't normally happen. Any new technology, any major new technology always destroys more jobs than it creates. Always. You can read history. And they do teach you history, so that education is really important. So yeah, it does make sense to read history so that you don't repeat the mistakes of playing business in the past. What's the other technology? No, what's the other technology from Google? Driverless cars, exactly. How many of you have seen the video of a Google driverless car? Okay, so it's a very small number. It's a very, very small number. YouTube is free, by the way. So there are pictures of the car working perfectly well, and all the reports seem to be very, very positive so far. Google cars, driverless cars seem to be working very well. They seem to be navigating traffic very well. They seem to be navigating all sorts of roads very well. There are only two concerns. One is when it rains and one is when it snows. Otherwise, it seems to be doing very well. So if you're in an area where you don't expect rain or snow, I'm sure there's going to be a big sellout. So what happens to the conventional car industry? What happens to all these factories where so many millions of people are employed? What do? They can't just stop those jobs and start becoming coders or start performing surgeries. They need to be trained. And where's the training budget going to come from? These are big questions facing mankind, and individual leaders like Barack Obama, or should I just say Barack, and Narendra Modi are not going to be able to answer. Because the old school where you just appointed leaders and expected them to take care of your problems is dead. Now those leaders, no matter how capable they are, they don't have all the answers because the questions are very, very complex. So if the average individuality of, average creativity of the average human being doesn't increase, we're going to have lots of problems and not enough solutions. So Google Glass and Google Cars were two examples of technologies right in front of you. It's no mystery, you can see it, and I think you just need to give it some time for the impact to sink in, and you got to think of a world where you're going to have all these technologies and you're going to have very few jobs. Now, how many of you read a magazine called The Economist? Okay, The Economist is probably one of the best magazines in the world. I would encourage more people to read that as often as possible. It's a very difficult read because it's very, very research backed, and it's a weekly, so it is very, very difficult to read. It's very difficult to take out so much time, but when you can find time to read a bit, I strongly suggest you do. And they keep on talking about the way technology has killed jobs in the past and how it's going to continue to do that in the future. Every 2 or 3 weeks, there is a substantial article about this, and every 3 or 4 months there is a cover story on this, how robots are destroying jobs, how technology is destroying jobs. As I said, that there are 2 types of jobs that are not going to be easy for machines to replace human beings. Any idea what those 2 types of jobs are? What do those 2 jobs involve? What kind of skills do those 2 kinds of jobs involve? Creativity is absolutely correct. Thank you very much. You're very smart. Since we didn't speak about that, that is an obvious one, but that's good anyway. Thank you. What's the other one? Leadership to general. But yes, you're very close. Leadership is very close to the answer suggested there.
Human interface.
Okay, fantastic. So this is really an above average group because according to The Economist, it's creativity and people management. So if you focus on these 2 areas, you're going to be one of the survivors of jobs that are going away to technology. So this is again from the present. Let me give you some examples from the future. How many of you are following a gentleman called Ray Kurzweil? He's all over the place. He's on YouTube. He's written many books. And you follow him? Okay, I would strongly suggest that you follow him because Bill Gates follows him. And Bill Gates is the richest man in the world. So that's it. I don't need to tell you any more of his qualifications. If Bill Gates is following him, that's good enough, right? But anyway, I'll tell you a little more about him. He is a futurist. He's an author. He is a tech genius who's won virtually all awards that there are to be won in the technical or technological wizardry space. He predicts the future based on science, based on progression of technology. And you can see his predictions on Google. Most of his predictions have come true, which is why he is given so much importance by governments, by business people, by people like Bill Gates. So he predicted that a computer would beat a human being at chess, and it did. He predicted that the Cold War between the US and USSR would end by a certain date, and it did. Now he's made 2 predictions. He's made many predictions, but I'm just talking about 2 predictions for lack of time, which may be something you want to think about. If is for the second one. By 2029, he expects computers to have consciousness. Okay. 2029, not very far away, just around the corner. How many of you have heard of this movie or seen the movie The Imitation Game? Oh, fantastic. Okay, so then you know about Alan Turing. Alan Turing is supposed to be the father of the computer. Plenty of scientists worked on the computer, but he's supposed to have made the most major contribution. And the reason why that movie is called The Imitation Game is because there's something called a Turing test, where there are a bunch of people on one side, and there's a screen in between, and there's an entity on this side of the screen. And these bunch of people are having verbal exchanges. Okay, that's important. Verbal exchanges. It's not through any other interface, it's just verbal. And the questions are questions that you would ask another human being at a cocktail party. So you probably ask, which movie did you see recently? And somebody would say, okay, I saw this movie. Okay, what did you like about that movie? I like the performance of this particular actor. Oh great, even I like that actor. Have you seen other movies of his? And such a conversation. After some time, these guys are convinced that this entity is a human being. And it's actually a computer. Then the computer is said to have passed the Turing test. That's why the movie is called The Imitation Game, because it's a computer imitating a human being. So, as of now, this is not possible for computers, because though we have basic interactions with computers in natural languages, we have Siri and Amazon has a product called Amazon Echo. It's not really that perfect. There are plenty of times Siri messes up. But this is expected to happen by 2029. Now just imagine I have a problem with my mobile phone. And I call up and say, hey, my internet speed is really low, give me a top up. Okay sir, you get a top up, in the next 1 hour your speed will be back. Okay, thank you, bye. I have no clue whether I've spoken to a human being or a machine. Okay, as far as I'm concerned, my job got done. And I don't care whether I spoke to a human being or a machine. Imagine the machine has that capability in 2029. Which industry, and one of them, or that industry, is one of the backbones of the Indian economy? Which industry will be dead almost overnight? Call centers, exactly. And why would I hire a human being if I can get the same job done by a machine? And the Matrix had a fantastic dialogue for it. Agent Smith's discussing, saying, never send a man to do a machine's job. Why would I have a man when a machine can do a job? So all the guys are out. Again, millions of people on the streets across the world. Philippines apparently is a big competition to Indian BPO industry, so they probably have millions of people employed there as well. What are all these people going to do? So that's a prediction, not very far away, 2029, that everybody's got to think about very seriously. But that's not the most shocking of his predictions. The most shocking of his predictions, according to me, was if you're alive till 2045, I think everybody in the room would qualify for that. 2045, then you have the chance of living forever. Okay? This is Ray Kurzweil. He's a scientist. It's not some guy who has Baba in front of him, and it is not Asta Chan. Okay? This is real serious stuff. Everybody hangs on to every word that Ray Kurzweil says and takes it very seriously. So he's talking about nanorobots, which will be inside of blood cells, robots which are smaller than blood cells, which will be inside blood cells, which will be able to spot a disease before it's actually hitting you in a big way, and take remedial action without even knowing it. And probably buying body parts. So somebody's expected to do head surgery in the next 2 years, a head surgery, a brain transplant or a head transplant, literally taking somebody else's head and putting it on somebody else's body. That's expected to happen in the next 2 years. I know plenty of people who need that. Okay, so that is a scenario from the future made by somebody who is extremely highly successful in making these predictions in the past, and who is a scientist, who's very respected, whose words have to be taken seriously. Okay, so that should have given you some idea about the demand for creativity. The demand for creativity is really high. If you don't make a reputation of yourself as the ideas person, if you don't have a reputation of the guy who keeps coming out with new ideas all the time, you're going to be the first of the chopping block if there's a retrenchment in your company. Or if you have your own business and you're not known as a business that keeps on coming up to clients with new ideas, then you're dead. You're going to be the first guy who's going to go when your clients' budgets are reduced. So you've got to have the reputation of being an ideas person. Okay. Now, the general message I have given you so far is that the demand for creativity is right here. What is the logical question in your mind after this? If the demand for creativity is so high, so what?